How's it going? Another Thursday. Yes, July 9th. Kind of still in quarantine here in Connecticut. It is Nate Mumford, Director of Sales Engineering with RCS, for another questions and answers during a time of remote workflows. Yes, we are still live, still going strong here every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, answering your questions for any RCS product. We have Zetta to Go, Zetta Cloud, which we're talking about today, G Selector, Selector to Go, Quira, Revma, RCS News, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks too. A lot of good stuff here. So as always, we have our comments section below. You can go ahead and ask me any questions you want, any RCS products. I'll go ahead and answer them here. If it's too specific, I'll take it offline with you, and you can also direct message us here as well. And of course, live at rcsworks.com is a dedicated email we have to all these Facebook Lives. Whatever we can do to help in this crazy, crazy time, we are here to help you. So get your questions in, get your workflows in, and we'll talk about them throughout the little broadcast today here. So I thought for the upcoming weeks, just so you know, a little housekeeping, get that out of the way. Number one, we have our FTS, our Field Technician Services. They're up and running. They are on site or remote, your choice, whatever you feel more comfortable with you and your team. We respect that. And so we do have a brand new Field Technician Services portal that we're going to essentially talk about all of the ways that we can kind of do all of the benchmarks and all of those completions before we get on site, or if we do a phone installation too. So just so you know, if you have an upcoming Zetta install or you're looking to install with some Zetta equipment, the FTS team is kind of back to normal for the most part for us. With that said, we do have some special Zetta Cloud disaster recovery packages as well. We'll give you a free Zetta to Go license, a free seat, if you will. Remember, Zetta to Go operates in the concept that you can have unlimited number of users accessing a defined number of seats. So, for example, if you have 5 seats, you can have 10 users, but only 5 users can be using Zetta to Go at any given time. So if you look at that Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery with the addition of a free Zetta to Go seat, it's a great deal for redundancy, backup purposes, and you get that Zetta to Go seat as well, which is very, very cool. Also want to talk about, thank you for checking in, Di. I also want to talk about, I lost my train of thought here all of a sudden. It's the beauty about seeing the comments section on your side monitor. Beta users. That's right. So we have a brand new version of Zetta coming out, I believe at the end of July, early August. It is our big version, 5.20.1. We're really excited for this. Some really cool features. You know, I've been teasing it for a couple weeks and months now. We're looking for beta users. So if you're curious and want to test it out, let me know. Reach out to us or your local either support or sales representative, and we'll be happy to go ahead and talk to you about getting you on that beta so you can use the latest and greatest features for anybody else. And then, of course, with any product, too, just so you know. So if you do want to try it before it comes out, let us know. Reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with the right people and get you to try out that beta program, which is very cool. So today, I thought we would talk about Zetta Cloud. Now, I know it's Zetta Cloud and also Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery. They are one and the same. Think of this as RCS Cloud. And the first installment of RCS Cloud, the first phase, if you will, is Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery, which utilizes this Zetta Cloud that you're seeing right here on my screen. So everything you see on Zetta Cloud was just implemented last week. So if you are a current Zetta Cloud customer, you'll see all these changes kind of take into effect. If you're not, if you want to reach out to one of your sales reps, I'm more than happy to help you out and get you a Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery. And I know you're going to see this, and you're going to be like, Nate, this is so cool. I'm so excited. I'm going to take my entire station. I'm going to put it in the cloud. We love it. That's our end game here. But I will tell you, just to keep things in reality here, is that, you know, right now we have Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery. Probably Q4 is where we kind of set that line from Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery to Zetta Cloud automation, if you will. So just be aware that's coming down the pipeline as well. But all this stuff you can utilize. And again, this is live right now. This is my Zetta Cloud environment. So we, as I said, we had this release about last week. Really, really cool stuff here, and there's a lot to digest in a short period of time. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you quickly around and some of the new features, and if you want me to dive in deeper into something, let me know. Otherwise, you can always go back and rewatch this video. Or again, as I said, you can direct message us personally. We'll talk about more stuff, or your local RCS sales rep, all of that good stuff. But if you do have any questions on any RCS product, definitely feel free to comment below. And as I said, we'll do this every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So off the bat, you might see some differences. If you're watching other Zetta Cloud videos compared to this one, you'll see a couple differences here and there. So just off the bat, you'll notice there's some gap time in here. We do have now exact time markers like down here below. We've utilized the exact time markers with some gap times. That's in here, kind of reinforce the colors of some of the hours of the day and all that good stuff. But you might notice just a slight difference in display, right? You can see there if I click on the playlist module, this turns to kind of a bright purple, or here, or the modules. And then you look up here at the very top, and we can start seeing some layout, modules, config, and reports. And you're like, that looks pretty interesting. So I thought first we would talk about the layout aspect of Zetta Cloud. And yes, you're going to think to yourself, wow, this is like we're merging the two worlds of Zetta, your local Zetta, and Zetta Cloud. And that's the end game here. So we're going to layout. And you'll notice there's now new, save as, the layouts, which you saw beforehand. Active layouts, set station modules to all, and now manage layouts. And that's because, very similar to your local Zetta, we now have the ability to utilize modules, but also floating modules here in Zetta Cloud. So very simple. I'll hit a new layout. I'll call this Hot AC for right now. I'll hit save on this new layout. You'll notice there's a blank screen, just like we would in your local Zetta. And now we have the modules over here in the next drop down. So I can take my on-air module, and you'll notice, ooh, look, it's floating around, right? I could take that, dock it to the top. Fantastic. Modules, I'm doing this quick because of time purposes. There's my playlist. Take this, drag it down to, let's say, the bottom right here. See that? And then from there, I can adjust the horizontal width if I want to. So I'll bring this up, make it about halfway. And I'll do just very simple, the library. And I'll take the library, put it here on the right-hand side of the playlist. And again, just readjusting this. This is a one-time set it and forget it, if you will. So that kind of looks pretty neat. I'm going to my layouts, set all station modules to RCS Hot AC. Boom, boom, boom. You'll see that update just like that. And of course, I have my brand new layout with RCS Hot AC. Do you like it? Looks good? Great. Let's save it. Boom. Save very top left. And you might notice, wait a second, that was pretty cool. I did a lot of flexibility there. Yeah. Modules. I can take my hotkeys now, and I can take my hotkeys and I can float it, or I could bring it down here and I can put it into a tab environment. That's in the center. Same exact thing as your local Zetta. And now I have my set stations. We'll put RCS Hot AC. Remember in the last video, we introduced hotkeys. So that's what we have over here. And now I have these tabs, library, hotkeys, side by side in the same one. Just in case you're wondering, hey, Nate, why is that a white screen there? Don't forget, this is Zetta Cloud. We're working in the cloud environment right now. This is not an app. We don't download anything. This is not a virtual machine. Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery, and Zetta Cloud is written for Amazon Web Services. We follow best practices and all of that good stuff. So this is truly a cloud environment. And by doing so, we have some bandwidth we have to take into consideration. So obviously, if I have a database of, let's just say, 5,000 songs, do I need to spend the resources and the bandwidth to download all of that here instantly every single time I open the library module? You may ask yourself, hey, you know what, Nate? I do care about, well, then you know what? I can auto load this asset type on the module load, which in this case could be song or whatever you want it to be. Otherwise, I keep mine off because I don't need this yet. I don't need to access this data. If I do, just simple click on song, and guess what? It's going to load up all those songs here. Number of items per page. I have pages. The idea here is we're performance first and bandwidth second. That's the idea here. So again, we have the on-air, the playlist, the library. All those modules are open. And at this point in time, we can essentially go and let's maybe do a voice track, perhaps. So we did layouts. That's brand new, floating layouts, dockable modules, all that good stuff in here. And what do you say we do a actual voice track? So I'm going to jump to 12 o'clock. And Now, we could always have the voice track module open. If you've seen some of our past videos, you'll see that we had the voice track module to the right, and it's usually docked. You can definitely do that still. Think of this as a production layout versus a on-air layout, if you will. You can see here I have my exact time marker with a gap time of 0, and I have these two songs side by side. You can see there's a no file path here. That is a live news voice track that I have coming back from my disaster recovery logs. And what I'm going to do here is just left click on Happier. And this is the transition I want to voice track. Remember, everything in Zetta can be voice trackable, and very similar to that in Zetta Cloud. So what I can do now is I can right click, and you'll see I have a bunch of options now here when I right click, including insert voice track, which you might assume is, okay, there's just gonna be a voice track, and I'll have my module. I'll have to switch the library to the voice tracker. It's a little tedious. It's not the end of the world, but if only there was, I don't know, a way if I clicked insert voice track and all of a sudden a voice track module pops up just like that. And of course, I can make this nice and big if I wanted to and expand that. And now I have my heads and tails in my voice track. So I can record this here, test 1, 2, 3, 4. I can bring this in, move it left or right, and I can essentially save this voice track. And just like that, boom, it's saved. You'll see it going right in between Havana and Happier. And then we are good to go, just like that. And again, the idea there is success, voice track saved. I will close this window here. And notice that all of a sudden, I don't have to adjust my layout. It's all there live in real time. So if you're talking about retail space for your monitor, you don't have to worry about having that voice tracker actually loaded up. It's all there ready to go for you, which is very cool. From there, let's go back to our little home button here. So we covered the layouts. That's in there too. Again, new, save as. We got our manage layouts here, the set station to all. I did that for my RCS Hot AC to make sure that every one of my modules opens up to RCS Hot AC. We have the drop down here to show all of the modules we have right now. Remember, hotkeys were brand new. That was the last Zetta Cloud video we did. And then let's talk about, on my list of things to go here, I have voice tracking layout. Exact time markers we talked about, but there's a really, really cool feature we have in Zetta Cloud, which is going to be the ETM fill utilizing tags. So config in station, that's right here. I'm gonna click on my station RCS Hot AC. You'll see there's some details here in regards to, let's say, for example, we have splits in Zetta Cloud. That's available here as well. We got some advanced players involved, including primary players, secondary players. Don't forget, Zetta Cloud does come equipped with an encoder. I personally took my Zetta Cloud encoder and then made it into a client, and I'm utilizing Revma, our streaming service, to then take that and multiply the point destinations that are there. So that's what I have here. Again, you can see some Revma stuff in there. We got the live metadata, and then we have audio settings. Now, if you'll notice here, we have, again, available modes in there. So we have the auto, live assist, manual, and the split client, very similar to your local Zetta. We got auto fade, fade out duration, normalizations in here. We got soft ETM windows, again, just like Zetta. We got pitchless stretch and squeeze, that's in here. We also have this new feature, which is an emergency playlist, as well as ETM fill tags. And what this does is, if you have, let's say, a repetitive playlist, think of like an internet station, or if you want to have, let's say, some ETM fill for a particular category or particular tag, you can do that in Zetta Cloud right now, which is really, really, really cool. Just before I close this window here, we have, of course, G-Selector settings. That's connected to your G-Selector that automatically imports your logs into Zetta Cloud. But let's talk about this emergency playlist and this ETM fill tags. Again, the idea here is we have some fill content if we can't get a log from whatever source that may be, right? So what I can do here is just, let's say, double click on the Beatles, for example, because in honor of Ringo Starr, we might as well do that. And you can see there's tags here. And what I can do on this tag is essentially assign a certain fill tag to this song. And these tags are really whatever you want them to be. You can just keep it simple and call it fill. You can say rock tags. You can say pop tags. You can say core songs, if you will. But the idea here is in the song properties, you set the tags, right? So each song has a tag associated with it. And after you set that tag in here, if I go back to the config and stations, I know I'm moving pretty quickly here. I have the audio settings. I can then reference those same ETM fill tags. So if I am under in that particular hour, Zetta Cloud will call from the ETM fill to then play out, that kind of adjust that hour, so to speak, based on the gap time. Whereas if I had the emergency playlist, this could be a collection of songs that I have in here that if I don't have a schedule for whatever reason, I can do this emergency playlist and play those back to back to back. Think of the emergency playlist kind of as more of the Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery, and hopefully this will never happen to you, but you're using Zetta Cloud disaster recovery, streaming for a longer period of time past than the original logs that you had. You can essentially create those emergency playlists. But obviously, in that scenario too, just know it would help you out in regards to G Selector and doing some kind of unique configuration for you as well. But that's really cool as well. So ETM emergency playlist and ETM tags are also now added here in Zetta Cloud. If you're just joining us right now, we are live every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, questions and answers during a time of remote workflows, showcasing all of our RCS products. Today, we're talking about the latest features that were implemented last week, the enhancements for Zetta Cloud and Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery. Got any questions, anything you want me to elaborate more on Zetta Cloud, definitely comment below or direct message us. If you want to get more of the introduction to Zetta Cloud, we have a lot of videos here. Just go to our Facebook page and videos. You're here now, obviously. Or if you're on rcsworks.com, we got some past videos in our blog section as well. Moving on, some new features. We also have the missing audio reports. So again, reports up here. You can see there's now a missing audio report that we can run with our Zetta Cloud database. Obviously, we pick a time frame, to and from. We have the stations we can choose. I'll pick just RCS Hot AC for right now. And then, of course, we have our asset types. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have pretty much all my audio in here because this Zetta Cloud instance is tied to my Zetta that's back in my studios in New York. And so I know that I have disaster recovery enabled, so everything I do there automatically reflected back here in Zetta Cloud. Remember, with disaster recovery, metadata, audio, logs, any log changes is done instantly, reflected via RCS's site replication immediately to the Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty good, but I know for a fact I got voice tracks here that are not recorded. I'm going to choose voice tracks as an asset type, run my report, and you're going to see a slew of voice tracks here in this report. They're just empty voice tracks with 10 seconds, but obviously I haven't voice tracked that yet. Don't forget, we have some cool things on the way too in regards to these voice tracks, what they mean, some metadata aspects. So you can see I just have empty voice track slots. That's the title of the voice track. In the upcoming weeks, I want to do a Facebook Live talking about how you can utilize G Selector's linker live events, and then utilizing Zetta's treat live events as voice tracks. We can actually schedule and rotate metadata voice tracks telling the jocks what to talk about at that particular voice track. And then in addition to that, we're also going to talk about how you can create fly-in links with these live event voice tracks so that, for example, let's just say an artist is coming to town or you're doing an interview with this particular artist. You can have a fly-in link voice track that will tell you, hey, this artist is coming into town. You might want to go and talk about this for your upcoming break. Some really cool stuff in regards to voice tracking down the road that I have planned for you. So as you can see here, missing audio report, that's done in here as well. So just to recap, we have the floating voice track. We got the layouts. We can dock everything now. And again, we have this module dropdown, which is so cool because I can essentially take something like System Monitor, for example. If I just want to take a quick snapshot of my database and see how I'm doing, I don't have to dock this. I don't have to tab it in there. I can make this nice and big. I can look at this and just see, okay, RCS Hot AC. Here's my sequencers or my players, which is up and down, all that good stuff. My actions, if you will. Obviously, I have multiple sequencers and players. They're in here too, and they'll look a little more green. But that's in here. And then when you're done seeing that module, just close it and boom, you're done. If you have multiple users who need to access multiple stations, you can have your layout now. You can save multiple layouts. And now I have a default, a Nate FM, and a hot AC. So if I was a user and want to bounce between stations, I can always do this based on set station to all. So if you have kind of a default layout, you can do that. Otherwise, we're jumping around and just saying, hey, you know what? Here's my one layout. Here's my secondary layout. And we're good to go. From there, we talked about the floating voice track module, the ETM fill, the ETM with tags, emergency playlists, the missing audio report. That's all in there too. So obviously, as you can tell, Zetta Cloud and Zetta Cloud-based disaster recovery is an ever-evolving piece of software written on Amazon Web Services. We're really, really excited to show you all the latest and greatest features. And of course, there'll probably be more enhancements in a couple weeks, and I'll show you those too as well. Coming up in the future, I got some great guests lined up for you. I'm really excited for this Facebook Live series. Again, as always, you can comment on below, just like Jeff Ziegler did. Hey, Jeff, congratulations. Jeff Ziegler's been here for 24 years with RCS, by the way. I meant to text you that earlier, Jeff, but I was a little busy prepping for this. Jeff was asking, would a tagged fill song added to the log reconcile back to G selectors so that the music director knows it was added, and also modify the play history in G selector? We're working on the back and forth right now. If I'm not mistaken, right now, G selector is more of a push to Zetta Cloud, but I do know that we're working right now on having the back and forth, Jeff. So I'll take a look at that too and get back to you as well. But as of right this second, because we're at very early stages of Zetta Cloud, if I'm not mistaken, it's a push, not a back and forth, just so you know. Yes, thank you, Chip. And Chip, if you want to clarify that, if I was incorrect, please let me know. And by the way, too, there's a great video with Chip on our Facebook page as well, talking about Zetta Cloud and the future of what RCS is planning for RCS Cloud with G Selector and Zetta and all of that good stuff. I think it's pretty, yeah, there is a reconciliation option. So for the record, yes, thank you, Chip. There is a reconciliation option in Zetta Cloud. I appreciate it. Manual at the moment. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we'll leave it with just just saying how awesome Jeff Ziegler is. I think that's a pretty good way to end this video. Jeff, you're awesome. I'll see everybody to next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Get your comments in, direct message, live at rcsworks.com, all of that good stuff. I'll see you next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Questions and answers during a time of remote workflows. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be healthy. Wear your mask. Thank you, all your essential workers out there. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.